My name's Randy Bigley. Join me on the podcast right now is Colonel Crawford Superintendent Todd Martin. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. Thanks for bringing me in.
Well, thank you for coming in. So what's happening with the Colonel Crawford schools?
Well, a lot of things. We're back in session after a nice 2-week layoff. Going into the break, we had a lot of cold, a lot of flu setting in, so it was a nice restart to have those 2 weeks off. Last night was our board organizational meeting. We swore in the 3 members who won election this past November, and they're returning board members, Gordon Grove, Margie Hoyles, Scott Reich. I think one of the big things for our organization is the fact that we don't have a lot of turnover. This board's been consistent for the past 3 elections, all same board members, most of which have been there longer than that. We're blessed to have an administration that they don't leave. We have the same members. 3 of us are Crawford grads. One's from Gallion, one AD from Winford, but we're blessed that we don't have turnover there too. And I think that helps a school with consistency when you have the same people year in, year out, knowing each other and working well together. So things are going well. We elected a president last night. It's they nominated Brad McKibben. He was our current president, so he's president again. Margie Hoyles, who's an icon at Colonel Crawford, been around forever. When I was in school, she was there. She's the vice president. We have the committees selected for the year now, and I'll just kind of go through those. Finance Committee is Scott Reich and Brad McKibben. Legislative Liaison, Scott Reich and Norm Huber. Negotiations and Personnel, Norm Huber and Brad McKibben. School Facilities and Buildings and Grounds is Margie Hoyles and Gordon Grove. And Board Policy Review is Gordon Grove and Margie Hoyles. The board policy has been a busy one the last few years because there's so much legislation changing around COVID, around you name it, that we're constantly revising and adopting policies. So that seems like a full-time job at times.
Yeah, I remember when you were on with Will and I at the beginning of the school year, you said things are going to change this year, and they change like matter of hours, don't they? Yeah.
You know, what we adopted 18 months ago, much of it was revoked and done away with, and now you got new stuff coming on, and it's a full-time job just keeping up with the changes. I mean, if you close your eyes and kick your feet back, you're going to be behind the curve.
Right, exactly. And it's still changing. It changes every day, doesn't it?
It is. But I can honestly say, I come to work every day. It's enjoyable. The staff, they're making the best of a crazy situation. The kids are happy to be there. The parents are very enjoyable to be around ball games and concerts. And you know, you wouldn't tell that when you walk into our doors that we're living through a crazy pandemic time.
Yeah, I think parents like to get out. They like to get out and do stuff, don't they? They like to see their kids.
Evidence of that would be we brought back the concerts this year for Christmas, and we had a middle school night where we had 6th, 7th, 8th grade. We had to do the 6th grade concert first, clear the whole cafetorium out, which seats about 440 people. Bring in the next group. They filled it. We cleared them out. Then the 8th grade went and we filled it. So we had 3 full sessions. So people are eager to get out and get back to normal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what else is like? What's I was going to ask you how the school dealt with the pandemic this year. You said we were just talking about things changing all the time, and things will still change. And but at least I don't think we're going to close any schools this year, though. I don't think.
Well, I think the goal for everybody in the county, nobody wants to close. Everybody realizes that's your last option. You know, you look at schools today. There's schools all over the place that are closed. One, because they don't have bus drivers. You know, you get that bug into your bus driving crew. You're really at the mercy of the pandemic. There was about 3 all calls I made in the fall this year where I had to call sections of parents and say, hey, I apologize, but we do not have anybody to take bus 2 today. Parents, you'll have to bring your kids to school. I never got one complaint call. Everybody understood that, you know, the subs, at one point we had 5 of our 8 drivers out.
Wow. Yeah.
But we survived it, but the parents had to pick up and help us, and they did.
Well, that's good. You'll find that too a lot more. The parents will step in there, won't they?
Yep. I mean, we could have done 2 things. We could have done that option where parents help us out for a couple routes, or we close school and go remote. And I don't think anybody wants that.
No.
Parent, well, you might be a few kids that want that.
Right. Yeah.
But overall, I think people want their kids in school and they want that normal.
I agree with you. What else would you like to talk about? Anything else going on with the schools?
Well, as we're talking about what we've done, we made some changes that when COVID it's never going to go away, but when this heightened piece goes away, we're probably not going to change. We have, we used to have parents pick up elementary kids in a building after school each day. They would form lines, they would come through, get the kids, go home. We've gone away from that. If you ever come out to Crawford after 3 o'clock or 3:30, look in the parking lot, you'll see like 6 rows of cars, about 100 yards long. And we have a drive-up system now where we have a person with a radio identifying the parents, the tags in the window, and we have the kids waiting at the curb, and it's just a steady flow, and it's working really well. One, we're keeping people safe for COVID, but we're keeping people safe for any type of threat that might get in the building. So that's one of the changes that I think we kind of like we're going to keep.
Have you changed the cleaning policy, procedures, or?
Well, right before COVID hit, we had a flu that really went through the district. It was horrible. So I ordered 3 backpack sprayers to where we can spray an entire wing in a half hour, disinfect everything in that room. Luckily for me, I ordered them, we got them. COVID hit, you couldn't get those things.
Wow, yeah.
So, I mean, I loaned them out to the sheriff's department to hit the jail. I loaned them out to Pioneer before they could get theirs, and we do that. We weekly, each custodian in their wings, not alone with just cleaning what they normally have done, they'll spray and disinfect everything. So that's one of the pieces. We use some of the federal dollars that we got for the ESSER money to help with COVID, and we got the bipolar ionization, put the units in every air handling unit in the district, even in the weight room. So that air is being cleaned and purified as it's going through the ducts and coming through, and it actually purifies as it's coming and resting.
Wow.
So I think we're in a better place than we've probably ever been.
Right, because that would help out with flu and everything. Probably.
Everything.
Yeah.
We spray the buses daily. When the drivers are done, they pull up. I have a custodian jumps on with his backpack sprayer, and we hit the buses. We never did that in the past. So I think a big reason we're sitting at, I think we're at 6 positives out of 1,000 kids today.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the protocols that we put in. And schools all across are doing the same thing to try to keep kids safe.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, I would say spacing's a big thing too that we've done. Rather than eating in one big cafetorium area, I now I think we purchased like 15 additional big tables. We put them in the intermediate gym every day. So kids 9 through 12, we pulled that population out so we can spread them out. And we have 2 huge areas where people eat. When it was really at its peak, we would try to keep athletic teams together. So if you had that person who is compromised and you had a quarantine, well, you could keep it contained as best you could, rather than have your athletes all spread out. And if you have somebody, if you can try to keep it specific to a group, you can contain it a little bit better. I think we were successful in keeping our teams together too because of that.
Do you think you're going to get some of these policies even after the pandemic? You're going to hang on to some of the policies, or some things changed pretty much forever?
I think the pickup, the cleaning protocol, and trying to do our best to spread out. I think we're going to try to keep a lot of that around because it just makes sense with the flu and the colds.
Now, are you guys on? How's your mask policy right now? You guys, is it voluntary or is it?
The wording I've used, and I did an all-call this past weekend. It's strongly recommended for everybody. But if you choose not to, it's your choice to come in. We'll try to keep you safe with everything we've got in place. But if you are quarantined in any sense to where you're allowed to be in a building, you have to have a mask on for that 10-day quarantine period. So if you sit by somebody in a classroom or at lunch who tested positive, you don't show any symptoms or anything of that nature, you'll be identified to wear a mask. And we have, at one point I think we had about 150 kids in a mask. And I think that helped contain things.
And kids, they adapt to that stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, I think knowing that 10-day period, there's an end to the madness, that you can take it back off, got them through it.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Todd, for coming in today. And we look forward to having you in again, all right?
Sure.
Thank you.